Hi everyone. This would be, I think, part 3 of me talking about acids and teeth. Now, I've spoken about lemon juice and apple cider vinegar and soft drinks. One thing I didn't mention with the soft drinks are the sports drinks. Sports drinks are a whole other beastie. They're a whole other thing that we need to be really aware of when it comes to the care of our teeth and looking after ourselves. Now, one thing I want to do is just take you on a little side diversion, which I almost always do. I love diversions. And then come back to the issue of sports drinks. So the diversion is this. We now understand from a series of experiments that we've done that intense exercise has some impacts on saliva in our mouth. If you do heavy exercise, aerobic, anaerobic exercise, I think aerobic more so than anaerobic, like going for a run, or heavily training or playing a game of sport, the first thing that happens is that your saliva becomes thicker. It becomes that more mucousy, quite solid saliva, and often it can be quite, if you're training hard, it can be quite unpleasant. And you often see sports players spitting on the field, which I personally find really gross because I see enough spitting in my day job. But that spitting is to get rid of this really thick, and we call it ropey type of saliva. The other thing that happens with playing intense sports is that the flow rate of saliva reduces. Now, they think that this is a little bit to do with the way the nervous system is triggered. So we have the fright, flight, fight nervous system, and we have it's called the parasympathetic nervous system. And good saliva flow depends on this guy, the parasympathetic nervous system. So the body being more in a state of calm, balance, relaxation. That's what allows saliva to flow. You will know what I'm talking about if you don't like speaking in public, because the anxiety, the fright, flight, fight nervous system switches your saliva flow off or slows it right down. So if you're nervous about public speaking, your mouth will dry up. And if you've had that effect, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The relationship between this and sport is that sport kicks off that fright, flight, fight reaction. It's very stimulating. It puts you on edge because you have to perform. So that means that we've got two effects going on. We've got thicker saliva and we've got less flow of saliva. Now, why is this so important? Why on earth am I talking about it? The reason I'm talking about it is the greatest thing in our body for the health of our teeth is our saliva. It has compounds in it that I don't even think science has touched on yet. It has antibodies in it that the immune system produces. It has enzymes that are antibacterial. It is the most incredibly perfectly made mouthwash you could ever hope to have. This is why dentists often recommend you drink more water, because the more water you've got building blocks to make saliva and have a good saliva flow. Now, there's something else about saliva that's really, really magical. And that is that it contains the minerals that actually mop up and reduce the effects or the negative effects of acids on our teeth. And you can see if anyone ends up with a medical condition that dries their mouth up, they end up with very high levels of tooth decay. And the impacts are profound. You can actually see people, if their saliva glands are damaged, you can almost see the decay forming on their teeth. And even within a 6-month period between checkups, you'll find new holes in those people's teeth. So saliva is important stuff, particularly that more fluid, runny saliva. That's the protective stuff. Okay, so what am I saying here? I've kind of taken us on this strange tangent, so let's bring it all back together and tie it up. Basically, the point that I'm making is heavy training reduces your saliva flow dramatically, and it reduces the saliva that stops the damaging effect of acids. So, what are we doing? We are saying drink these sports drinks, and they are very, very acidic, and people are drinking them at a time when their mouths are driest, they have low saliva flow rate, and they have less of the buffer, it's called buffering. They have less of the minerals in their saliva to help their teeth basically protect the teeth from the impacts of those strong acids from hitting them. So isn't this bizarre? Probably the worst thing you can drink when you're training at sport is a sports drink for the health of your teeth. And I find this really, really interesting. A question that I often ask, and I'm sure someone who knows knows about sports physiology might be able to answer this for me. What I'm curious about is with sport, one of the things that happens when we train hard, we build up a lot of lactic acid in the muscles. And I've always wondered, why do we make sports drinks acidic if, a build-up in acidity is one of the side effects of playing sport, and it's not a great side effect, and it causes muscle pain? That's just a question I've got. If anyone knows the answer, I would love to hear it. But speaking as a dentist, let's come back to the point. Sports drinks and heavy training and teeth don't mix. Again, what do we do about this? The question I've got is, who actually benefits from sports drinks? Does the regular athlete, the person that plays their Sunday or Saturday afternoon football, do they need sports drinks? I don't know. I'm not sure about this. And as I said earlier, do they actually need to be acidic, or is that just to give them a flavour? Is that actually more about a taste sensation that people enjoy and not actually beneficial to the human body that's played sport? I'm going to come back to the same boring message that I always use, which is drink more water. And the other thing I'd recommend, if you've got your little kids and they're playing their Saturday soccer, I don't know whether you still have the orange at halftime and quarter time, but I'd think really seriously about the orange for the same reason. Their little mouths are dry, they've got less saliva flow, you're sticking an orange in that dry mouth. There's nothing between those teeth and the acid in that orange. So, again, why not just keep life really simple and drink water? And then maybe a few hours after your game, and if you really feel that you need those minerals, then you drink your sports drink. Just putting it out there as an idea. Some people have said to me that they find plain water hurts their stomach when they are playing hard sport, and that they find the sports drinks don't give them that cramping effect in the stomach. It might be worthwhile then looking at putting some slices of ginger or some slices of fresh mint in your water bottle. You might find that just letting the natural mint sort of soak into the water actually has a similar effect and is more calming on the stomach. It's worth trying. I don't do elite athletics. I can't test that one out. So again, just more things for you to consider and just to shake up some of the things that we accept as normal, but they're actually not as good for us as we think they are. And like I always say, there's no point having something good for one part of your body if it's to the detriment of something else. Anyway, I always enjoy these talks and I hope you do too. Thanks everyone. Bye.